It's my pleasure now to introduce you to four Redmond High School students for whom Sparrow Clubs has made a difference. And I'll let them tell you how Sparrow Clubs has not only changed the lives of the sparrows with whom we work, but has changed the culture of our school and has changed the lives of these students.
Good morning. My name is Isaro Saldana. For me, Sparrow Club has been a way to be part of something bigger than myself. Sparrow Clubs allows its members to come together, meet new people, in an effort to help those who truly need it. Sparrow Club provides us a way to give back to our community. We don't just raise funds, we help, we support, and we provide hope.
My name is Sarah Dubois, and for me, it's inspiring to see how Sparrow Club has enhanced the giving spirits at Redmond High School. I fully believe in the concept of kids helping kids, and I think Sparrow Club has helped change the culture of our school. When our students see and hear the story of our sparrow, it creates an overwhelming desire to make a difference. Students throughout our school participate in community service activities and see that their efforts not only benefit our sparrow, but they benefit the community as well. I'm proud to say I'm a member of such a wonderful organization, and knowing that together we can make a difference.
My name is Sam Hedegaard, and I'm a senior at Redmond High School. I did not join Sparrow Club until this year. When I heard about our sparrow, Lucy, I thought about how a child, the fraction of my age, is forced to deal with something few of us could ever understand. It made me realize that a child grappling such odds should not have to do this without support. My connection to Lucy is through her father, a teacher at our school. I met Senior Stancliffe during my sophomore year. One thing I always noticed every class, no matter the weather or the current events, Senior Stancliffe always had a smile on his face and a spring in his step. I do not know why a man of this caliber has been given such a heavy load to bear, but I do understand it is my responsibility to help lift a portion of the weight from his shoulders.
My name is Brandy Van Wert, and I am a senior at Redmond High School. In middle school, I was what people might have called a troublemaker. I received multiple referrals, got into fights, and I usually spent the better part of my week in lunch detention. And my grades suffered, to say the least. As a matter of fact, I spent my last day of 8th grade in the office completing packets just so I could move on to high school. At the beginning of my freshman year, I wound up at a Sparrow Club meeting, and I heard what it was all about, and I decided it sounded like something that I might be interested in getting involved in. The more I participated, the more I realized that what we were doing was a miracle to these families, and it felt good. Through Sparrow Clubs, I have become a new and better person. Sparrow Club is not just changing the lives of our sparrows, but it is molding the lives of today's youth.
These four young people are a testament to the power of Sparrow Clubs. In my 15 years as a public educator, I've seen a lot of initiatives designed to change school culture. Many of these efforts fall short because they fail to account for the two key principles that change lives: altruism and compassion. And through Sparrow Clubs, our students learn about the value of selflessly giving so that others may survive. They learn how good it feels to share a part of themselves with other people and make a difference in the world. Now, the beauty of Sparrow Clubs, and the reason why I'm such a passionate advocate for this cause, is that Sparrow Clubs not only changes the lives of the individual sparrows, but as you've heard, it changes the lives of the young people with whom they work. And the magic behind Sparrow Clubs is that these students then go out and they change the world. And they change the world because they understand that they can make a difference and that ordinary miracles happen every day. And so I greatly appreciate you being here to support this cause. And I want to encourage you as you go through the morning to learn as much as you can about what we do and be inspired by the young people who are truly changing our world today. So on behalf of all of the sparrows and all of the students involved in Sparrow Clubs, I welcome you this morning and encourage you to become a full participant in this movement to change our youth culture and thereby to change the world. So thank you very much for being here.
You know, back in 1992, at the end of the year school assembly, there was a 7th grade boy who won the last award. His name was Damien, and I'd have to say he was probably the most picked on kid at Kamiakin Junior High and the least likely kid to win a school award. You know, Damien I was first introduced to him by the school counselor where I was teaching at that school. He was asked to be in my adaptive PE class, and Damien wasn't severely disabled like the other 11 kids in that class, but he had been such a target for ridicule and abuse in regular PE that the counselor thought it would be a safer place for him to be. So I was introduced to him, and I could understand why the kids teased him. Damien was pretty oversized. He wore big black stretch pants, a white shirt, and a tie to school every day. He trudged with a limp and sweated his way between classes with few friends. You know, Damien had, I think he had dyslexia, which means he couldn't read or write very well. So in the social grade scale in the school hallways, it's not really the 3 R's that kids are judged by. I call them the 4 B's: brawn, beauty, brains, and bucks. And Damien didn't have any of those really in his peers' eyes. So he was the target. But I saved this special character award for the very end of the assembly. And it was a special poem that I had written and framed, and so I had it ready. So when the time came, I read the poem out loud and announced the winner, Damien Sharkey. And I could still see him sitting up in the corner of the bleachers. And he worked his way down through the bleachers like the seas were parting. The second his feet hit the gym floor, every staff member, parent, and student in that gym stood to their feet and gave Damien what seemed like a 5-minute standing ovation. He came up to me, I hugged him, I gave him his plaque. He went back to his place. I dismissed the students to their classes, and every kid there knew this kid who was once a target at Kamiakin Junior High was now the hero, and every student knew why. You see, it was only a month earlier in mid-May, one of Damien's teachers, little boy, he was 9 months old, they found out he had this rare type of cancer. It was a rare kind of leukemia. He needed a bone marrow transplant. It cost $200,000, but the insurance company refused to pay. And the teacher had no way to pay it either. So 9-month-old Michael, his transplant would be delayed, and the doctor said he may only have weeks to live. Somehow Damien got wind of his teacher's predicament, and without hesitation, rushed home, demanded his mom to take out all his money from his bank account. He's going to wipe it out. He brought it into school, 12 $5 bills. Damien sold the farm, brought it into school to save baby Michael. The principal at Kamiakin Junior High, Steve Message, was so touched by Damien's sacrificial gift of $60 that he started a little bank account to save Michael. Well, soon word spread like a virus through Kamiakin Junior High, and kids rallied with passion behind Damien's donation. And the community saw what the kids were doing, and they rallied behind them. In less than 4 weeks, by June 12th, there's $227,000 in that little bank account to save Michael. His parents paid cash for Michael's transplant. And I just want you to know, I stand here today telling you this heartfelt story because Michael is now a 16-year-old young man. In fact, he goes to Redmond High School. He's here serving you today. And if you haven't figured it out, I was Damien's teacher. Michael is my son. So I stand here today, not just because of that, but you saw these students that were standing here. You saw what these students can mean. I'm indebted to young people who can see beyond themselves, who can reach out to serve others. I believe in young people. I believe the youth of our nation are worth reaching out to. You know, it's an amazing thing what kids can do. We have that constant reminder in our home every day. I can't forget it. Because I know, and my wife Christy knows, that kids will do heroic things when they have heroic things to do. Well, over 250 years ago, Benjamin Franklin did an experiment. He saw a lightning storm and he wanted to see what that lightning could amount to, and so he tied a key to a kite string and flew the kite in this thunderstorm, and all of a sudden it was struck with electricity. The charge came down, and eventually they discovered that to be this ordinary miracle called electricity. Well, it's anything but ordinary, but it has changed our world, hasn't it? You know, back in 15 years ago, we saw a different kind of lightning strike the hearts of kids at Kamaikan Junior High, where I was a teacher. The lightning bolt was called compassion. We saw how compassion charged the hearts of kids to look outside of themselves. It lit up their minds with helpful ideas. It energized their hands to serve and reach out and help others. It actually electrified the whole community to passionately follow behind them to save a little boy's life. Well, that lightning bolt inspired an experiment for us back in 1995. We thought, what if you could harness that electricity of compassion and maybe even help change youth culture? And I think it might work. So we started something called Sparrow Clubs. And since 1995, that little experiment, we've seen lightning strike over 500 times in schools through half the United States, but mostly here in Oregon and in Washington. We've seen the lightning strike of compassion. We've seen over 500 kids adopted. In the last 3 years alone, 235 kids adopted by kids in schools. And that little connection with a child in medical need to a school is like electricity. But there's some hardwiring that needs to happen. Now over $2.5 million since 1995 has been raised through the hearts and hands of young people to help kids in need. Last year alone, we dispersed over $707,000 to 137 families in medical crisis with their children through our little office in Bend, Oregon on Greenwood. How many have been to our office in Greenwood? We actually disperse that money from a broom closet, and it's kind of fun. But I guess we can say yes without a doubt. Is it still an experiment? I don't think so. I think it's turned into kind of an electrical plant. But this all points to two challenges we have before us, with us in Sparrow Clubs. I think it's the biggest reason we're here today with all of you, our community. First, I want to paint a picture of the vision and the opportunity that we have not only to impact children in medical crisis, but children everywhere with the potential of school-based charity through Sparrow Clubs. There are 74 million young people in America, just to give you an idea, 17 and under. 1 in 3 are being raised in single-parent homes. 48 million kids go to 96,000 public schools across the United States, where there are about 1.5 million acts of violence or serious acts of violence every school year. That amounts to about 22 acts of violence every minute of every school day. 160,000 kids a day do not attend school because they're afraid of being bullied or picked on, which bullying is now the #1 discipline problem in many schools. Our youth live in a culture where self-inflicted harm is the #3 cause of teen mortality. Ironically, and this is kind of interesting in terms of the medical side, 9,600 kids a year are diagnosed with cancer, children 15 and under. 10,000 babies a year are born with cerebral palsy. Now, what if Sparrow Clubs had the resources and organizational hardware, kind of like an electrical company, that had that infrastructure to connect and bring the healing power of compassion, not only to our youth who are children in medical need, but to the kids in schools who want to adopt them. Which leads to our second challenge. Sparrow Clubs must build a sustainable base of operating support in order to even service our existing clubs. A couple myths, things that you need to know about Sparrow Clubs. One is that our project sponsorships that were referred to earlier, how our program works. We adopt a kid to a school and we get a business to sponsor the project. Well, those sponsors help us set the stage for every Sparrow project that's adopted, and that's vital. But I want you to know only 11% of our operating budget gets supported through those project sponsorships.